Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review House of a Thousand Corpses, the most shocking tale of carnage you've ever seen.
Written and directed by Rob Zombie, starring Sheri Moon, Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick, Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, and Karen Black. This movie's about two couples that stop at a roadside attraction on a trip who meet Captain Spaulding, who tells them all about Dr. Satan. One of the guys is actually writing a book about roadside attractions and wants to follow up on this Dr. Satan fella he's heard so much about. They go to try and find him, and it's the biggest mistake of their entire lives. Before we get into things, we are going to talk about some spoilers, but there's not a ton to spoil in this movie because there's so much going on. But we just wanted to let you know that we are going to mention some key character kills. So what do we like?
I want to kick it off with the style of this film. This is Rob Zombie's directorial debut for a feature-length film, and he nailed it. It's just so refreshing and different for its time. It has his music video feel to it. It's a nice mix of clean cinematography with old school cinematography, and it's very fitting.
Hey, Poopy Pants, what's new?
We've got this grungy atmosphere that is shot really glossy with some grain over top as well. And then you also have this weird abstract stuff with inverted colors and just very trippy looking visuals. And it looks awesome, as well as the setting. The setting of basically all of Rob Zombie's movies, it just has this disgusting feel to it. You're just like, oh my God. Imagine what that place smells like. And a setting that can bring that out in someone, it must be done well. Like, it looks so gross.
And what's really cool about it is it's not just the house, it's the area itself. You have what's happening underground, you have the backyard with all the junk and everything, and then Captain Spaulding's roadside attraction. Those exist, and that is what's kind of cool and creepy about it.
It's kind of the same stuff that you see at conventions sometimes, where people have all this weird taxidermy stuff, and I get it, it's an art, but imagine just walking into a dingy old place filled with that shit, all about serial killers. It's gonna be off-putting for some, obviously interesting for some of these folk, but I don't want to be near any of it. Although the fried chicken and hanging out with Captain Spaulding might be fun.
Don't forget to take home some of my tasty fried chicken. Ha ha! It just tastes so damn good.
Which brings us to the characters of this film.
Meanwhile, you're too stupid to realize you got a demon sticking out your ass singing, "Holy Miss Molly, got me alive."
Hands down, Bill Moseley as Otis was brilliant. Bill Moseley just has this presence to him. Not just how he looks, but how he delivers his lines. I will say this over and over again. If there is a monologue, I want to hear it from Bill Moseley because he just knows how to execute it.
You ever work scooping ice cream to your shit-heeled friends on summer break? Well, I ain't talking about no goddamn white socks with Mickey Mouse on one side and Donald Duck on the other. I ain't reading no funny books, mama.
And for someone who is preachy like Otis's character, it was the perfect fit.
I will also say, and I'm certain most would agree, Captain Spaulding is one of the coolest clowns in cinema. Straight up, this dude is just cool as a cucumber. He's got all his one-liners.
You miserable motherfucker. I ought to jump over this counter and bash your fucking balls in.
He's like a nice, honest guy, surprisingly.
Gotcha.
But if you piss him off, well, he's gonna send you in the wrong direction. And I just love him. I also love Sheri Moon. Baby is so good. Not everybody loves Sheri Moon. Rob Zombie and Sheri Moon, obviously, together. Sheri Moon is in every other movie as a main star, and people have a problem with that. I don't. I think she is fucking awesome. I think her acting suits the style of character, especially in this, that Baby is.
You sure are silly for a guy with glasses. I like that.
Oh, okay, hey.
She's a hot babe with a whiny, weird, cartoony voice that is enough to convince people to do what she says.
No, wait, please, come on, stop it. What do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want from
Please
us?
be quiet, I don't want to slip.
We also have Rainn Wilson in this film, which I think is hilarious for people who love The Office, but for him to be in this film, which his character does get overlooked in the sense that they only remember the Fish Boy scene.
Fish boy!
He does a good job. He's like that sci-fi nerdy guy, and his facial reactions are natural. He looks scared when he's faced one-on-one in a bad situation, but he also has like a lighthearted humor to him that you can see is just like him being himself.
I also like seeing Chris Hardwick, especially at the time, despite what's happened recently with tons of accusations. When I first saw this, I was watching G4 Attack of the Show, and I would see him all the time. He since blew up from then, became like a pop culture celebrity in his own sense. So it is weird seeing him in this because I completely forgot that he was in it.
But putting the actors aside, the characters themselves, the whole family reminds me a lot of the Sawyer family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And you could tell like Rob Zombie was like playing off that. And it's kind of cool when you see like Bill Moseley, who was like Chop Top in like the second one, just like coming into this like style of film, because it's something he's familiar with. And the characters themselves, they feel like a deranged family.
Especially when Buddy brings his fucking fetus to the dinner table.
Grandpa doesn't care.
Look, she ain't gonna let any of us touch dessert unless they're wearing this damn thing.
It is worth mentioning that there's one scene in this film that has a huge impact cinematically, and that is when the father and the deputy are like going through the junkyard and they run into Bill Moseley's character. How that was shot was so powerful. It plays a lot on contrast, where we have slow motion of something gruesome happening on screen with light-hearted music playing in the background. This shot was held on for so long that you're just patiently waiting to see what's gonna happen, and it was just well done.
In general, I like the flow of everything. It's very fast-paced. There's a lot going on. It's chaotic. It's crazy. There's shit everywhere from like the setting and everything, but all the characters, they all have their own unique look and they all have their own personalities. There's just so many situations that we're going through, from putting on an evening show to torture scenes to going into like a tunnel where seemingly 1,000 corpses line the walls, and this big weird Bane fellow. Everything just looks fucking cool, and you would never expect it. Like every single thing that happens, you're just like, oh, that's happening now. Wow. And that happens over and over and over again. And I think that's really dope. We want to be Rotten Tomatoes verified so we could say, this shit was dope. That's all I asked for. Now, what didn't we like? I would argue that I didn't love like the very last few scenes. Because most of the movie has such like an upbeat pace and it's just go, go, go. It slowed down towards the end, and I completely understood that. But I think I felt like too drained by then. And I just felt emotionally uninvested. And at that point, I didn't care what happened to our characters. And potentially that's what's supposed to happen, because this is one of those films where you're almost rooting for the antagonists versus our main characters. And so it was just kind of like a really different shift in pace.
I don't know if I'm desensitized from watching so many horror movies, but
yes,
it was good with its torture scenes. But a lot of it was just more like aftermath. You see like the odd cut here and there. There was a good scalping, but I wouldn't necessarily say that the on-screen killing presence was strong in this film.
It almost revolved more around like the gritty atmosphere. So they could have definitely done some way more shocking things to our characters, because that was the whole buildup. The whole buildup was, okay, they're now in this house and now they're gonna get fucked up by Dr. Satan and his gang. And they do get fucked up, I guess. I don't think they got fucked up enough.
It was a cool concept where when they were doing the torture scenes, it was like a cutaway to like a flashback almost as to what was happening. And it was shot very quickly paced and with like a different color grading over it. It's not like it was a bad thing. It just seemed as though there should have been more.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I really enjoy House of a Thousand Corpses. I think it's an excellent movie. It's got this gritty, grungy atmosphere that ties into both the setting and the characters, and even like just the tone. It feels gross, and that's exactly why I love it. It builds such a cool universe with characters that I actually gave a shit about, but in the antagonists, not necessarily, you know, the people that we're supposed to root for. And that's a nice little change. However, I did think that the last part of this film wasn't the best, because I didn't care if this girl ran out of this tunnel. I'm just like, no, go get him, Bane. You got this. But other than that, I enjoyed everything. I think that the editing and the style that Rob Zombie has is just great. So I'm gonna give this 4.5 of my philosophies out of 5.
Yeah, we like to get fucked up and do fucked up shit.
For a directorial debut of a musician, Rob Zombie did a fantastic job on his first film. This film had an amazing setting, a creepy atmosphere, and it was beautifully shot. I loved the style of it. I loved how we had crisp, clean shots to grungy, color graded moments. It just flowed. On top of that, we had some of the most memorable characters that you are going to love. I love Otis and Captain Spaulding. I think Sid Haig and Bill Moseley just nailed these roles. Emma's gonna remember them, and they're very entertaining to watch. Even though this film comes across as groundbreaking and very grotesque, it doesn't actually feel that way. It does a good job in a torture style of film that has a hint of Texas Chainsaw Massacre to it, but I wouldn't say it is the most grotesque film I've ever seen. But it is definitely a wild ride, and I think a lot of people who haven't seen this film really need to go and watch it. It's unique in its own way, and if you have seen it, then watch it again, because we watched it again and it still holds up. It is a fantastic film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 5 killer scarecrows out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. And if you want to hear our thoughts as we revisited this after several years, we've got a commentary exclusive to Patreon. Link is in the description. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.